Hi, I'm Lou with another episode of My Car Story. And today we've got a great car from you from yesteryear. I'm with Mark. Mark, your last name?
Spandikow.
Year, make, and model of this one?
1936 Auburn Supercharged Cabriolet.
852, and we'll talk about that because you're going to see it, well, right in the center on that grill. But look at the way the fenders are of this. It looks like a big heart with those fenders. So if it's got that big heart, well, how can you not be in love? So let's start off with the easy questions. How long have you had this one?
I've had it for about 5 years. I purchased it in parts and pieces from the original. Came from the factory as a Supercharged Cabriolet.
So you bought this car in pieces and you have the skill sets to put it together.
Somewhat.
Well, first of all, it's won awards and you put this together, so congratulations.
Thank you.
On that. And Mark, show me how Auburn guys look at the headlights. What do they do? Like normal people go, wow, that looks like a big kettle drum. But show me something unique that you just shared with me.
The first thing they do is they touch the front to see if there's a little knob at the end of it.
Now notice that.
That shows that it's an Auburn headlight and not a Hudson.
You can see that crack right in there, and if you catch it maybe that way, you could see that it sticks out. So it's got the stable light also there, if I catch the light just right, and then there's a knob on the end of it. Maybe even if my hand, you can see it push out just like that. Never knew that.
That's important to the Auburn guys.
So they all run around and grab the front end of the headlight.
That's the first thing they check.
I know what people are thinking right now. Okay, we're going to keep moving on. Let's go right along to the side of the car. I want to feature this side first because you'll see they are different each side. First of all, we've got a great stance. Let me stand back and show it to you. And one side of the car is a little more noted than the other, especially when it's supercharged. So as we show you the side of this one, we're also going to show you the engine compartment. And by the way, these doors will feature those. So when you come down on them, they do that. So let's step back and just show how that door looks right there. We'll talk about that a little more when we go to the other side, and they shut perfectly. So now it's kind of interesting because you have, I'll call the action side. Notice how that popped out. You also have this here to make sure you don't scrape your paint there. Here we are inside the firewall, as you can see, of the car. And there's, tell me about this tag, Mark.
That's the original VIN tag from the car when it was from the factory.
Wow. That's pretty cool. But you've got your horns here. Do the horns work?
They do.
We'll blow those when we get to the other side and start it. And your oil filter, your starter.
That's the start, it's the silver thing.
And what does the Start X do?
It automatically starts the car if it stalls.
Is that right?
It was featured on Packards as well, and other vehicles.
And this is your oil filter.
Yeah, it's a trickle filter.
Yeah, you can see that.
It's not super effective.
You have to change oil every 1,000, or?
Just have to change the oil once in a while if you put a lot of miles on it.
And the Lycoming Straight 8. What's this cubic inch on this? 280 if I recall?
Yes.
280. So this is a temperature gauge.
Right.
Got it. Okay. This is where you put your oil in. I understand. Okay. All right, we're going to close this side. We'll start it when we open the other side. Notice even a lot of nice brass and things like that. Okay. All right, we'll let you close that. I'll come back here. You can feature the Auburn. I'll do it even easier. You've got your steps up for the rumble seat that you're going to see in the back. Obviously, it's got a convertible top on it. But if you notice, I'll show you this one because it's straight up. You've got the Auburn 8. The interesting thing with the Auburn, I'd love for somebody to tell me why the U's have this script almost look like a V or look like there's motion. Maybe somebody who's familiar with the Auburns can tell me why they have that. There's where your gas goes. Can we open the rumble seat area? Obviously there's step-ups to it. Your gas goes there. And then you can sit right there and notice that's a pretty close gap. They did that just right for that. Feet go in there. Wind in the hair back here. Okay. Let me have you let me have you open this side. And I'll show this. You can see that this windshield comes down.
Correct.
A great rake. And you know what? Let me do one other thing. I apologize. Let's close that door. I want to show the side of this car. Because this car has the business side if we move back. When you have a supercharged car, step back one more step with me, Mark. Thanks. When you have that, that's the side you want to see because people want to see these pipes. All right, now we'll open this up and we'll get to the engine compartment in a second. You've got that rake windshield. Notice you've got this ventilation on the opening there. A lot of times that would just be flat. Doors open suicide style. Nice leather here for sure. Very tight in here. There's a little area back there. There's your package tray. Your mirror, really nicely done. Now let's get a little information here. So obviously we've got, is it a 3-speed or a 4-speed?
It's a 3-speed.
3-speed.
Dual ratio rear end.
Are these headlight high beams for the
Yes.
headlights? Was that the first car to have that?
I don't believe so. I'm pretty sure cars in the past have had that.
We're gonna find out more about that when we take it for a ride. And then, but just take a look at the instrumentation. Okay, I'll kind of feature in on that. Your lights, we're gonna see the gas button and the choke being used when we take it for a ride. And you have individual wipers here, as you can see. And
the radio.
The radio. And a great clock. Beautiful design in here. Your clutch. What's this in the center? Is that an ashtray or a cigarette lighter?
That is a cigar lighter.
Cigar lighter. And we have our ignition here. We'll talk a little bit more about that as well. Now you said the radio was under here?
Yeah, that's a Crosley radio, made by the Crosley radio.
Right under here.
They also built cars in the 50s.
That you probably never see unless I talk to you about that. And if you take a closer look too, you have the word Auburn right there. And we'll take another look over at this with the oil level there. Well, let's show the business side of this engine and then we'll fire it for him. So right off the bat, the first thing that happens in my mind is, you know, the other side came all the way up. And this side obviously is stationary because of the pipes.
Correct.
Where you might not have picked that up right away of the two different sides. But that stamping, 1849, is the correct stamping you'd see on this supercharged piece here. And you'll probably hear a little bit of it when we ride, but you'll hear a bit of a whine, the supercharger whine. So we look down there, like so. All right. So is this, these numbers here, is it just stampings or is that actual firing order or? I got some stampings here, and I want to stick my fingers on that.
Here's a firing order.
In there, firing
That's
order.
the intake manifold.
Intake manifold. Let's open the door one more time. I want to give people the overall look of the instrumentation from here before I have you sit in it and fire it up. But let's go. Let's fire it up. Let's hear what it sounds like with the supercharger.
You want this one?
Yeah, can we keep that open? Okay, thanks. Nice, you got your brass hoses there. To it from the back. Nice. Let me not forget. Let me hear that horn. One more time. Nice. Mark, I think it's time for us to take it for a ride.
Got it.
All right. So Mark and I are in the 1936 Auburn 852 Supercharged Cabriolet, the convertible. And you can see the road that we have here. Now, was there a big difference in top speed versus the non-supercharged, or?
Supposedly the supercharged car can top 100 miles an hour.
Is that right?
The Speedster was actually certified at 101 miles an hour.
Which
and
is
it's got the same engine and everything.
Which is a lot of miles an hour in 1936.
Exactly. Although the Duesenberg was capable of doing that in the second gear.
There's a slight price difference though in the Duesenberg versus the Auburn back in the day, I'm sure.
Exactly.
So, you know, it's climbing up this hill nicely. I see you're kind of working. Tell me what you're doing here. You're working the choke. What are you doing?
I'm working the gas because the gas pedal is in need of some adjustment.
Okay.
So it also has a gas knob where you can adjust the RPM.
Oh yeah. I'm noticing that. Tell me what that gauge is. It says engine. Is that for your supercharger?
This is for the RPM.
Okay.
Tachometer.
Yeah. That's moving accordingly as we're going here. How's it steering it?
It's non-power steering, so it's pretty hard to steer.
Yeah, we call that Armstrong power steering.
Exactly.
Yeah. Tell me what you have on this steering wheel. It says high.
Oh, that's
dual
the dual
ratio low.
So that's got a vacuum advance that goes up to the differential.
Yeah.
And when you switch it, a piston moves the gear so that it goes into a higher range.
Is that right?
And that was a common dual ratio on the 35, 36 Auburns, actually the 34 as well.
I like how you have to use your feet as well as your hands. It's like you're playing a musical instrument here as we watch you. Left hand, left foot, right foot.
Well, they say
fine
that
now. Let me just show people where we're going. Go ahead.
to prevent cars from being stolen nowadays, you have to have a stick shift, because nobody knows how to work a stick shift.
You don't know how to drive it.
At least not too many people do. And I've gotten used to having an automatic on my own vehicle.
Right.
But this is how I learned when I was a kid. My first vehicle that I ever drove was a 1950 Chevy pickup truck.
Nice. Yeah, that'll get the manual working. What's this right here, this gauge?
That's a radio.
Okay.
It's an official Auburn radio.
That's an Auburn radio. Okay.
It's underneath the dash.
I gotcha.
And it's got cables going to it.
Well, here's our interesting spot.
All right, this is the underpass that goes under the Chicago Northwestern rails. And recently they put in an underpass for pedestrians because it was kind of a tight fit for people to walk in there. It used to be you had to be on your honor to get under here. They didn't have a traffic light. You would stop, wait for somebody to come through, and then you would proceed.
Get a few cars facing head on, and all of a sudden it becomes a chess match.
Exactly. And once in a while I would cheat and just follow the car in front of me and get yelled at.
And here we go to our bridge. I like this. Very cool. A one-way bridge.
Exactly.
It's beautiful. Beautiful neighborhood here. I'm enjoying watching how you drive it. There's the shifting, the clutch. And what do we have down here too, by the way?
That is the ignition switch. And if you switch it down, it goes to what they call a Startix. And the Startix will automatically restart the car if it stalls. This is the Glen Ellen, Lake Ellen down here. And this is the high school. They filled in part of the lake in order to put their football field in.
Very cool.
I like to ride my bike around here.
Yeah, right? What a nice area. This is beautiful.
Obviously, you don't need a heater for this car because
No,
there's
it's
so much
nice.
heat coming off the engine.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a cool day, and we are wonderfully toasty in here from that engine. And might I add, I have been very familiar with ducks on the pond over there.
Oh, yeah.
Very familiar with a supercharged Auburn, but never rode in one. So let me remind myself to say thank you so much for getting a chance to ride in such a cool car that you have here, let alone such a rare car to see. Well, we're going to keep taking a ride, as you can see. But Mark, what a treat. What a pleasure to be in this great automobile. Thanks so much for being on my car story.